up on Fulton today.
The 2015 legislative session is over. I'm Priscilla Ortega. Coming up, I'll tell you what that means for Fulton County government and residents.
And Fulton's first responders meet the new county manager. Fulton Today starts right now. Welcome to Fulton Today, everybody. I'm Shania Chavis. The 2015 legislative session is over at the Capitol. So what does that now mean for Fulton County and its residents? FGTV's Priscilla Ortega has been covering the entire session, and she joins us now with the latest report. Priscilla?
This session ended with a number of bills related to Fulton County tabled, but there are some that made its way to Governor Nathan Deal's desk for a signature. During the last Board of Commissioners meeting, Legislative Liaison Jessica Corbett Dominguez gave the latest update on a number of Fulton County-related bills.
First and foremost, we wanted to let you know that the two homestead exemption bills, 628 and 630, were tabled during the session, so we were very pleased with that.
The Atlanta annexation bill didn't receive enough signatures, and the South Fulton Cityhood bill did not move forward either. During the meeting, the board voted unanimously to reaffirm their position of wanting the citizens of South Fulton County to be allowed to vote on cityhood. But a deal was struck with the transportation bill. That bill is expected to generate $900 million, which the state will then use for transportation projects. Since some of Fulton County's legislative priorities didn't move forward this session, some of the county commissioners say they plan to bring those items up again next session. Now, to see how all the bills fared, you can go to legiscan.com/GA. Reporting at the state capitol, I'm Priscilla Ortega for FGTV.
Thank you very much, Priscilla, for your hard work this session. Meanwhile, Fulton County's Development Authority has a new executive director. Alvin Nash was formally introduced to county commissioners, state officials, business leaders, and citizens during a reception at the Hyatt Regency.
I'm excited about the future. We're coming off of a great 2014, and 2015 is going to be a very exciting year for this county as we try to grow the tax base in the county, and as we also try to create jobs and retain jobs. And that's really what our mission is, and it really will take a team effort.
The chairman of the Development Authority welcomed the new director and applauded the authority's financial achievements.
We're celebrating tonight for two reasons. Number one, we've had one of the finest years we've ever had, probably the best one. We have a new edition of our resurgence out this year, and we're showing that last year we brought in new investment into Fulton County in the amount of about $2,543 million. And we brought in a new 29,175 jobs into Fulton County. For some reason, nobody ever seems to know about this. We want to let the public know what we're doing.
The Development Authority of Fulton County includes all of unincorporated parts of the county, its municipalities, and the city of Atlanta. Fulton's new county manager continues to make up-close and personal introductions to the workforce. FGTV's Felicia Church has our story.
On this field day Friday, manager Dick Anderson made two stops on his campaign to get to know employees and what they do. The first stop was the medical examiner's office. Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Randy Hanslick gave Anderson a tour of the building on Pryor Street. Dr. Hanslick explained the importance of quality assurance and gave Anderson a tour of the department's investigation division, the records area, and autopsy area. An estimated 2,500 cases came through the medical examiner's office last year. Hanslick says only one or two of those victims remained unidentified last year, a statistic Anderson called amazing.
So what's the cost of something like that?
Anderson's next stop was with the county's first responders. Fire Chief Larry Few and his staff welcomed the county manager to the newest station, number 11 on Fulton Industrial Boulevard. Anderson got a close-up look at the department's newest fire engines and the department's decontamination units. He also got a look inside the station's weight room and the captain's quarters. As he wrapped up his latest tours, Anderson thanked Chief Few and his staff and told them how much he appreciates what they do. Although it may take some time, Anderson says he will continue his visits and explained why he's doing them.
The importance of visiting every department may seem obvious. First is just learning. I'm on a steep learning curve. There's much more that I don't know than I do know. And there's almost no way that I have found to really understand what our operations are, what the challenges are, what the budget issues are, other than to go there and see the folks that are providing service to citizens.
Reporting for FGTV, I'm Felicia Church.
Thank you, Felicia. Residents who want to do business at the Fulton County Government Center, listen up. Part of the building is under construction. The entrance at the corner of Mitchell and Peachtree Street will be closed through early June. Citizens and employees can use the Peachtree and MLK or Pryor Street entrances. The construction is part of a lengthy waterproofing project to prevent leaks from exterior terraces and balconies from entering interior offices on the lower levels of the building. And speaking of making repairs, seniors learned how to address water leaks in their very own homes. The Department of Water Resources hosted a workshop at the Benson Senior Multipurpose Facility as a part of Fix a Leak Week. Residents were taught how to look for dripping faucets, shower heads, sprinklers, toilets, and other fixtures.
It is an opportunity for us to share with our residents some of the household common leaks that waste a tremendous amount of water each year. One of the culprits of water leaks is your toilet. And so you can detect water leaks in the toilet by placing either dye tablets or food coloring in the tank. We ask that you don't flush your toilet for 20 minutes. And if within that 20 minutes, blue water appears in the bowl of your toilet and you haven't flushed it, you have a silent leak.
Water resource officials say the end of winter is a good time to check for leaks from broken lines and other problems.
I learned a little construction problem. I have a new bathroom, a new toilet, very much like the one you showed, and the toilet wobbles. The nuts and bolts get loose, and I have a tight squeeze to get in there to hold the bolt underneath and then twist the nut. And you showed me that I could do a better job if I used a wrench or a pair of pliers to hold the bolt and then turn the screwdriver. Still don't have much room, but I think I can make it tighter and solve my wobbly toilet seat.
Water resource officials say leaks can account for more than 10,000 gallons of water in an average home every year. And for more information on water conservation, you can contact the Water Resources Department. And still to come, Fulton continues the campaign to keep our youth on the right track. We'll explain in our district by district coverage next. A Fulton-sponsored symposium challenges young people to think, talk, and take action. And state lawmakers commend North Fulton leaders for their commitment to the community. Here's this week's district by district coverage. In District 1, Vice Chair Liz Hausman joins the Meals on Wheels and Senior Services North Fulton campaign. The commissioner celebrated Community Champions Week as a part of the annual push to raise awareness about the Meals on Wheels program and the needs of seniors it serves.
I had the opportunity to deliver a meal to one of our senior citizens in Johns Creek with the mayor of Johns Creek, as a matter of fact. And it's such a great program, really serves not only a need in helping with their nutrition, but gives our seniors the opportunity to interact with a community member, and it's beneficial to the volunteers that deliver the meals as well.
March for Meals is a nationwide celebration that informs the public about the growing number of seniors in need of nutritious meals and addresses the issue of senior hunger and isolation. Senior Services North Fulton provides programs and services for older adults who live in North Fulton regardless of their ability to pay. District 2 Commissioner Bob Ellis hosted his first open house. The first-term commissioner met his constituents at the North Service Center for both a meet and greet and a conversation. Commissioner Ellis wants North Fulton residents to know that his door is always open to hear their concerns.
First and foremost, it's just an opportunity for folks to come out and see where I'm located and have an opportunity just to chat. But one of the things that I found that was most enjoyable as I was campaigning was just the opportunity to engage with folks one-on-one. You know, it's one thing to communicate with folks via email, but really for the opportunity for one-on-one dialogue.
I think he's a great leader on many aspects, on the business and personal, and I believe he'll do some great things with the counties and the cities involved. So I want to be a part of that.
Though this was the commissioner's inaugural open house, he told his constituents it won't be his last. The District 2 representative plans to host regular forums in North Fulton. District 4 Commissioner Joan Garner greets guests and participants at this year's Don't Touch the Fire Youth Symposium. The commissioner's office brought together teens and parents along with formerly incarcerated individuals, elected officials, business leaders, and civic representatives. The purpose of the symposium at the Marriott Marquis was to engage youth in a conversation about the consequences of giving in to negative peer pressure, pressure that could lead to incarceration or death.
It's really important for me to have this once again because we have so many young people in our schools and our communities who have so many obstacles in front of them. And we just want to let them know that there are people in the community who care about them, their families, their friends, neighborhood.
You won't believe some of the children that are in our audience. Some of these children have experienced things that we only see on television, such as gangbanging, being involved with being bullied, and just really living in environments that are not conducive to learning.
When you go to a conference like this and programs in this nature, you see other people's perspective of life. And sometimes seeing other people's perspective will get you less oblivious of how the world really works.
The Fulton County Department of Aging and Youth co-sponsored this event and offers other programs for young residents. To get more information, visit the county's website and click on Aging and Youth under the department's link. And finally, in District 6, South Fulton residents gather for a community information meeting about fire services. Commissioner Emma I. Darnell's office hosted the forum in Fairburn. Residents heard from Fulton's fire chief about the new station slated to open in their community.
These meetings are important because we get to interface with the community. They get to share ideas with us about our concepts of the drawings, and then we get their ideas so that possibly we can come in and make some changes and just listen to what their needs are.
It allows the community to see what the county commissioners are thinking in order to what's coming up in the future and get their input. It really allows the community to be a part of a new facility so that the county can make sure they're addressing all their needs and hear their concerns prior to us starting the work.
I like the fact that Commissioner Emma Darnell chose this particular building to have a meeting regarding the fire station going to be built right down the road, and to get the impact or get the feedback from our constituents who we serve at the City Grove Community Association. So it was a great thing, and I want to be a part of it, to hear the questions and answers, and to see the feedback from our leaders who put this construction building together.
Commissioner Darnell plans on having additional community information meetings about services in the unincorporated area. Stay informed by visiting her website at emmadarnell.com. Now you can catch more of your commissioners at work all this week with the rebroadcast of the Board of Commissioners meeting right here on FGTV. And when we return, Fulton's workforce is raising awareness about cancer prevention. Stay with us. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month all across the country, and the push this year is to make sure that communities get connected with the available resources to keep our children and youth from what many say is a preventable statistic. Now, Tiffany Sawyer is with the Georgia Center for Child Advocacy, and she joins us now to talk about those resources and some of the symptoms. Welcome to Fulton today.
Thanks so much for having me, Shania.
So first things first, let's talk about how common child abuse is in the country and in the county.
About every 10 seconds, a child is reported to have been abused or neglected in the United States. And on average, there's between about 1,100 and 1,200 children who have substantiated cases of abuse and neglect here in Fulton County. We see at our agency mostly child sexual abuse, and we know that about 1 in 10 children are sexually abused before the age of 18 in the U.S.
And now talk to us a little bit about some of the signs of abuse.
Well, we would expect children to get some bruises because they're running around and jumping all the time, and so that's pretty expected. The things that you wouldn't expect are bruises on the soft tissue area of their body. So if you see some bruises or redness around the soft tissue area, especially in some kind of unusual pattern, that's something to look for with physical abuse. Other kinds of things are if you can actually see the imprint of an object on a child, or if they have burns in areas that just wouldn't be consistent with them grabbing something that was hot, that would be also a sign of physical abuse. With sexual abuse and with emotional abuse, you'd see a lot of changes in behavior. So looking for kids who are withdrawn that normally aren't, or some kind of sudden change in behavior, or a sudden change with wanting to be around a certain individual. Those would be some signs that you would want to look for. Also, acting out sexually, that would be something that we wouldn't see in a child, especially a young child. For neglect, we look at things like chronic fatigue, chronic hunger, children who are coming to school early or leaving school late all the time consistently, and children who don't have a lot of supervision. Those are some things that are consistent with neglect.
And this is a touchy one. What should people do if they suspect that a child is being abused?
Well, if you're noticing one of these signs that I'd mentioned, and you have some kind of relationship with a child, whether it's personal or professional, you would definitely want to talk to the child about that, but do it in an open way. So you would want to say, you know, I've noticed these signs in you. I've noticed something that's different. Talk to me about that. What's going on in your life? Is there anything that you want to share with me? Engaging children in open dialogue is really important to help them disclose these things. If a child does disclose abuse, you want to use as many open-ended questions as possible, no direct questions. Try to get the details of what's happened by listening, but try not to ask too many questions. And then you want to make a report. Making a report is very important. And you would call either DFACS or law enforcement. You can just pick up the phone and call 911 to report abuse. And we really encourage people to do that. Getting the advice of a professional is also really important. And you can call a child advocacy center. We have over 40 of them throughout the state of Georgia. And right here in Fulton County, the Georgia Center for Child Advocacy is a great resource for people.
And we talked about some resources available. Tell us about them.
Well, when cases are reported to either law enforcement or the Division of Family and Children's Services, a lot of times those agencies bring children to a child advocacy center. And what we do is we provide forensic interviews for children so that they only have to share that story one time. That's our goal, is so that they don't have to be re-traumatized by telling that story. But we get all of the details out so that the case can be investigated. The other critical thing is that we provide family support. We have family advocates that help the family process what's happened, and then also therapy for children so that they can begin to heal from what's happened to them. And those are some really important services that kids get healing as soon as possible.
Tiffany Sawyer with the Georgia Center for Child Advocacy. Great information. Thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Now, to get more information on child abuse prevention, visit childwelfare.gov. Now, April is also Alcohol Awareness Month. According to the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, nearly 25% of adults binge drink at least once a month. And it's not just those over 21 who reportedly abuse alcohol. Statistics show about 15% of people ages 12 to 20 are binge drinkers.
A lot of people in this country believe that people that develop alcoholism, they're ones that drink every day, which is not true. Most people that develop alcoholism, they're more of what's called a binge drinker. And they'll just drink as long as they can, as much as they can, until it just kind of tears their body down, and then they'll stop. And then once they begin to feel okay, which could be maybe 6 months down the road, even longer, they'll do the same thing all over again. And that's worse on the body than actually doing it every day.
Alcohol has been identified as a risk factor for several cancers, including liver, mouth, and breast cancer. According to dietary guidelines for Americans, moderate alcohol consumption is 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. Nutrition coaches say that some simple changes to your diet could help deter your chances of getting cancer. Fulton County Employee Wellness Committee's nutrition coaches recommend eating more green leafy vegetables and berries. Blueberries and raspberries are especially powerful in preventing cancer. Health experts also say organic is always a better choice.
Organically grown fruits and vegetables actually have their own antioxidants, and they actually have more antioxidants because that's nature's own pesticide and herbicide that protects those plants. So the more organically grown foods you eat, the more antioxidants you're getting into your diet, which will reduce your risk of not only cancer but other diseases.
Exercise, sleep, and reducing stress are also key factors in reducing your cancer risk. The Cancer Awareness Session is just one way the county works to improve the health of its workforce. And still to come, library hours reduced last year are now restored. We'll have the details when we come back. Fulton's leaders restore library hours back to 2013 levels. Starting this month, hours at all of the branches have been modified for full service. During the 2014 budget process, hours were reduced and nearly all of the branches were closed on Friday. But residents spoke out against the modified hours and commissioners had them restored.
I'm extremely excited that the hours are being restored because what it does, it allows us to restore the feeling that the community has that the library heard them and that the library will have the hours available that suit the public.
So now with the modified hours and the new branches that have opened, Fulton is offering more library hours than ever before. The library system is in the middle of a building program with more libraries expected to open this year. And finally, more than 100 people pack a library to learn about the film industry. It was standing room only at the West End branch as a group of film professionals talked about how to get a career in that industry. The workshop was hosted by the library system and an Atlanta City Council member.
Some of the jobs are hair, makeup, okay, carpentry, electrician. There are over 150 jobs that are behind the camera. And a lot of times people want to be the star in front of the camera. But you know, there's some really good jobs behind the camera.
I think if you have an interest in film, you really have to love film and really want to be in the industry, because people think I'm just going to come in to get a good paying job, and it's a difficult lifestyle. I'd call our business a lifestyle. And if you don't love what you do, you aren't going to last in it.
The film industry expert said training and education is key to landing a job, but there are plenty available. For more information on events just like this one, you can go to the library's website at afpls.org. And before we go, our reminder that we'd like to connect with you online. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook, and of course, watch us anytime on our YouTube channel. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis. Thank you for watching. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.